Yesterday, old Joe gave the commencement address at Morehouse College in Georgia, an HBCU, a historically black college or university, which means a black college. I'll get into the demographics over there in just a moment. And this was part of his uplifting and encouraging speech as he attempted to inspire the students in their incredible day and the next chapter of their life that awaits them.
In America, we're all created equal.
Yes.
Extremists close the doors of opportunity.
He meant to say extremists closed the doors of opportunity, complaining about the Supreme Court ending affirmative action, black favoritism.
Strike down affirmative action.
Yes.
Attack the values of diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Oh, speaking of diversity, equity, and inclusion, let's take a look at the demographics of Morehouse College, shall we? It's about 2,000 students there, and there are 0.07% white students there. In fact, let's take a closer look at the demographics and diversity report of Morehouse, shall we? So you have about 1,500 black or African American, 467 unknown, which are black or some Dominican, some kind of black. Multi-ethnic is 40, which is incredible. And then down here you have 4 white students. 4 white students, 1 Asian at the whole college. And speaking of diversity, which of course is a code word meaning less white people, for about 10 years now, ever since the birth of the Black Lives Matter movement, many prominent colleges have been having segregated graduation ceremonies so that the black students can enjoy their special day without having the burden of sharing it with any white students. Harvard prepares to host all black graduation, the first ever. This is in 2017. So trying to undo the forced integration that the colleges had experienced. The Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity at Washington University, of course, celebrating their black graduation ceremony, their diversity ceremony. But inspire us some more, Joe.
I never thought when I was graduating in 1968, as your honoree just was, we talked about, I never thought I'd be a president at a time when there's a national effort to ban books. Not to write history, but to erase history.
Yeah, I never thought we would see that day either, but for generations, a certain demographic of people complained about books like The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer being in middle school curriculums because they contain a little N-word that hurts certain people's feelings. I never thought I would see the day when a popular Dr. Seuss book, beloved by children for generations, would be taken out of print by the publisher because there were concerns about caricatures of certain people, and then used copies banned for sale on eBay. Now, it's one thing if a publisher doesn't want to print any more copies of their book. It's a whole other story when the world's largest online used marketplace bans people from even listing those now rare books for sale. Now, they did later reverse that policy. So if you go and look up the book now, it is available. Used copies are listed, but right after the publisher took it out of print, eBay banned listing used copies. When I graduated college 20 years ago now, back in 2004, I got a bachelor's degree in communication from California State University, if anybody cares to know. I never could have imagined that Amazon would be banning best-selling books that are investigating what the possible causes are for transgenderism, like they did back in 2021, 3 years ago now, when they dumped down the memory hole the book When Harry Became Sally, which then surprisingly got the attention of the media. They had banned numerous other books for several years before that, but nobody had the guts to dare tweet about them because they didn't want to be called racist or anti-Semitic. In 2019, Amazon banned this book, The Culture of Critique, an evolutionary analysis of Jewish involvement in 20th century intellectual and political movements, written by an evolutionary psychology professor at California State University, Long Beach. Because unlike most stereotypes about groups, which tend to be negative, like people will say that a certain group of people are lazy, or have poor impulse control or have low IQ compared, on average. But when it comes to stereotypes about Jews, then if somebody stereotypes them as being too successful or too rich or too powerful, then they get upset about that. And so a certain group of people didn't want their accomplishments in various political movements to be documented and detailed. And so this book got banned, dumped down the memory hole, used copies, forbidden from being listed on Amazon. Last December, I did an entire in-depth report about all of the books, or many of them. I did forget a couple, so I'll have to do an updated version of this later this year. But many of the books that Amazon banned over the last 5 years, titled, Why Are Zero Free Speech Conservative Hosts Talking About This? And if I remember, I'll leave a link to this video in the description below, and you can find it, but you're going to have to search for that specific title because I'm terrible about using keywords and descriptions and making my videos, search engine optimal. I'll have to start doing that. It's just one more thing that I need to do by the time I get a video done. So finding old videos of mine on specific topics, very difficult to do. So I really need to make them more SEO friendly. But this is one of those in-depth reports that you definitely have to see. But let's get back to old Joe's doomsday and divisive commencement address, shall we?
It's natural to wonder if democracy you hear about actually works for you. What is democracy?
Well, actually, it's mob rule. It's majority rules. It's two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner, which is why our country was set up as a constitutional republic, meaning that there are a set of protective rules, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, that are designed to protect every citizen from mob rule, from the majority then voting to just take away those rights.
If black men are being killed in the street,
that's certainly not white people's fault. They can look in the mirror for the cause of that one.
What is democracy? Betrayal of broken promises still leave black communities behind.
It's white people's fault that they never got reparations, that black communities are left behind. Certainly isn't the fault of their inhabitants.
What is democracy? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot.
Actually, for generations, they had substandard grades and qualifications, but because of affirmative action, were given prestigious positions within corporate America and entrance into prestigious schools simply because of their blackness.
And most of all, what does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure?
So that was the class of 2024 Morehouse College commencement address from the President of the United States telling the students that their country hates them. Not all of the graduates enjoyed the speech, however. Some of them turned their back to old Joe, which was probably because they are the pro-Palestinian people, not because Joe Biden is a complete idiot and is insulting them to their face and causing more division, or that he is destroying the country. And there was just a new report published that says school segregation is getting worse 70 years after the Brown decision, the Brown versus the Board of Education, remember, from middle school, the forced integration of the schools. Many students are divided by their race and socioeconomic status. Well, that's probably in large part because many of the black students now just don't want to be around white people, as we've been seeing for years with the rise of systemic anti-whiteism. And because of the epic catfight in the House Oversight Committee last week between Marjorie Taylor Greene, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Jasmine Crockett, Jasmine is, of course, accusing Marjorie Taylor Greene of being a racist for starting it.
Have since called her racist, Congresswoman Greene. I want to understand your perspective of this. Do you think her going after your eyelashes, that in itself is racist?
I think her specifically doing it to me, yes, that was the intent.
Any kind of an insult whatsoever to a prestigious black woman like myself is going to be interpreted as racist. I'm actually shocked that Pat Sajak and Wheel of Fortune haven't been deemed racist yet for this epic failure.
I would like to solve. Okay. Knock it out the park.
Terry, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
I'd like to solve.
Yeah, go ahead.
Knock it out of the park.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. We don't accept Ebonic answers. You have to actually spell out every word of the puzzle. But nothing beats South Park's Wheel of Fortune episode when Randy Marsh epically failed at guessing the puzzle.
Category is people who annoy you. Audience, keep quiet, please.
All right, I'd like to solve the puzzle.
No, I bleeped that, but they actually let it go over the air just as it was. It is a miracle how South Park has avoided falling victim to cancel culture. And if you want to see some other hilarious and inappropriate clips, then follow me over on Locals by clicking the link in the description below. Join for $5 a month. It's a way to sponsor my channel and get access to the exclusive Locals community. It's where I post all the clips that definitely cause problems over here on YouTube. You don't have to be a paid member in order to follow me over there. That's just a way to get the members-only posts, which are the spiciest of content. So click the link in the description below, head on over there, and check it out.